Yo, welcome back, man. Day 15 of Power Influence, and we're talking about perceived value. So yesterday we talked all about understanding perceived value, incentive. We talked about Charlie Munger. We talked about Pat Rock a lot. We talked about romancing the stone. I've dropped my second marker. I'm on fire here. And now I want to talk about how to increase perceived value, right? How do we actually increase perceived value of something? So we talked about yesterday, we have this rock that has very little value, but they did all these things to it to make millions of people buy it and pay 15 bucks or whatever for a rock, right? For a rock. How did they do that? All right, this was a question I wanted to know a long time ago. I still want to keep learning about it today, of course, but here's how they did it, all right? Here are the 12, there's 12 ways to increase perceived value. So I'm gonna read these out to everyone here, and then we're gonna bang them out. So please get ready to write down here, get ready to write down at home. 1, story. 2, contrast bias. 3, reward. 4, putting an actual dollar value on it. Say dollar value. 5, social proof. 6, scarcity. 7, celebrity associations. 8, exclusivity. 9, challenge-based stimulation. Love seeing these pens move so furiously. 10, halo effect. 11, naming the thing. And 12, the bonus incentive. So we're going to go over each of these really quickly in a second. I want to tell you a quick story about Frederick the Great. Okay, Frederick the Great. I'm always curious, like, did he decide he was going to be the great? Did someone else do that? Can I do that myself? It's inner conflicts I have. So anyways, here's how it goes. This is how Frederick the Great introduced potatoes to Austria. Okay, I call it the potato story. It's the potato story. As the story goes, the Prussians were in the midst of a horrible famine. Okay, now Frederick believed that potatoes were the answer. The thing is, no one really likes potatoes very much, right? So instead, here's what he did. He made potatoes a royal vegetable, and he ordered his soldiers to guard the royal potato field. Okay? He made them the royal vegetable, and then he ordered his soldiers to guard the royal potato field. This made potatoes something to be coveted, which made peasants want them, which made them widespread. Okay? Which made them widespread. So in that little story right there, what perceived value triggers did he use? What did he use there? Well, he used story, he used social proof, he used scarcity, he used celebrity association, he used exclusivity. Okay? So by the way, when you start using, so there's 12, right? There's 12 of these ways to increase perceived value. When you use, I don't know, 3 of them, 4 of them maybe, okay? You don't need to remember all 12 for the rest of your life. If you just use 3 or 4 and you mix them up and you mash them into this pot, you create something that we call the Lollapalooza effect. Okay, the Lollapalooza effect. Everyone here know what Lollapalooza is? It's a music festival, right? It's a concert. People went fucking nuts at it. They go crazy. Like they would at like an EDM festival nowadays, like an EDC or whatever. When you get 3, 4, or 5 of these or whatever, all you're doing, there's so much emotional wind and things and just like, it's like an emotional thunderstorm. All this shit is going on. They want this, that's amazing. Holy shit, there's scarcity, there's exclusivity. You get all these things working together. They're literally, their rational brain, it shuts the fuck off. They can't think clearly anymore. They just want it. right? And now they have no conscious filtering going on, no conscious thinking. All they have is this emotional desire to want this thing at almost any cost, and they just go crazy. Okay, Lollapalooza. They just go crazy. So you don't need to use all 12 to get that effect. If you're launching a product to your customers and you want 500 people to buy it and you're selling to 10,000 people and you implement 4 or 5 of these triggers, you'll get 500 people to go nuts and buy it right away on day one. Okay, you just create a fucking stampede. Lollapalooza. So we said story was number 1. Okay, status was interesting to a lot of people. When they find out what it's done for me and how powerful it is, we wrap it in a story, its perceived value goes up. All right, that's 1. Contrast bias. Okay, so for instance, if I told you that Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion, does that sound like a lot of money to you guys? Does that sound like money? Okay, so Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. So it sounds like a certain amount of money. Like that sounds like a lot of money, like this amount of money. But then I tell you that for $10 billion, Facebook could have given the entire world clean water, but instead they bought WhatsApp for $19 million. All of a sudden, 19 sounds like even more, right? $19 million, conceptually, you can't picture it. You're just like, it sounds like a lot of money. But when I relate it, contrast bias, right? We're creating a contrast here. When I compare it and contrast it with something like giving clean water to the world for $10 billion, all of a sudden you're like, that's a lot of money for just a digital texting tool. Okay, so that's the contrast bias. 19 billion sounds like a lot, but then when you contrast it, it sounds like even more. So for instance, you've seen this on every infomercial, right? Retails for $39.99, buy in the next 18 minutes, $14.95, right? If they just said, or in the next 15 minutes, it's $14.95, that sounds like a decent deal, but when they tell you that hundreds or thousands of other people have already paid $39.99, and you're getting it for $14.95, that's a hell of a deal. Right? They've used the contrast bias. So you're anchoring one thing here to make the actual thing seem like less, right? Or you can do it the other way, right? You can do it both ways. So for instance, I'm trying to think about how you can use this with girls. Well, we'll get back to that later. I don't want to get stuck on that too much. That's number 2. Number 3, the reward or potential reward for it. Okay, this is simply you telling someone the reward that they will get from doing the thing. Okay, this is human psychology 101, but we've become so far diluted from what actually makes people tick that we don't even think about this. If you want someone, like if you want your buddy to come out with you on Friday night and you just invite him and he says like, I'm not sure, I don't know, most people wouldn't automatically think, well, I really want him to come out. What can I say that would get him to come out? Like, what can I do? Well, you just tell him what the reward is. Right? So guys would go, there's going to be a lot of girls there. That's a decent reward, right? But you can increase the perceived reward if you get more specific with it. It's not just a lot of girls, but that girl you've been talking to is going to be there, right? If I'm selling status, I'm not going to tell you all the features of status. 26 hours of footage, 42 HD videos, 42-day transformation, etc. Those are features. I'm going to tell you the rewards. Total power, total confidence. Walk like a badass, talk like a badass. Be the version of yourself that you've always wanted to be. Double your income, get promoted. Now we're talking about rewards. People want to hear about rewards. They'll get bored if you start talking about features. Okay? They want to hear about the benefits and they want to hear about the rewards. All those things are going to increase the perceived value of it. Number 4, putting an actual dollar value on the thing. Okay, putting an actual dollar value on the thing, on the offer, on the invitation, whatever it is. Okay, one of our favorite flirting techniques is just talk about how much your time is. Girl's talking to you for a couple minutes. It's like, listen, I'll talk to you for a couple more minutes now, but I should just let you know my rate is $400 an hour, and I don't want to have to charge you too much today. Okay, something as simple as that. But now you've put an actual value on it, and the human brain can't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. So she's like, damn, his time is worth $400 an hour. That other guy I was talking to was free. He's more valuable. Okay, he's more valuable. 5, social proof and pre-selection, right? If more people want it, it appears more valuable. Now, I want you to understand, okay, rationally speaking, that's not true, okay? If more people want it, that's usually a sign that, especially if it's just like the unwashed, retard, Twinkie-eating masses out there, and they're the ones that are all like going crazy for it, that doesn't mean it's valuable. That just means they're being marketed to. They're the herd, right? So if they're all going crazy for Kim Kardashian, that doesn't mean she's valuable. That just means that they're retarded. It probably means that she's retarded too. So for instance, if I release a new product, and most of the guys in Team Capital are pretty, like, they're badasses, and I tell you guys are going nuts for it and they're all buying it, that's social proof. Does everyone see how that's social proof? But that doesn't mean don't listen to it. What you want to do with social proof for yourself is just you want to look to not what is everyone doing, what are the people who I want to be like doing? Okay, that's the differentiation, the discrimination you have to make in your brain. But social proof of pre-selection increases perceived value. Scarcity increases value. I don't think I have to explain that one. I think that's pretty obvious, and that's very true. Okay, very, very true. If there is, I don't know, let's say there's like a Broadway play. I don't remember the exact numbers or whatever, but their opening night obviously is always biggest, but the last night before they close is almost always one of their biggest also. Why is that? Scarcity, right? The last one, people want to go. So it increases the value. 7, celebrity associations. Okay, again, higher up the hierarchy. If you are associated with it, if your product is associated with it, if the offer, the invitation, whatever is associated with a celebrity, celebrities are going to be there, celebrities also buy this product, whatever it is, increases the perceived value of it. Exclusivity increases the perceived value. This is related to scarcity. If everyone can have it, it's not scarce, it's not exclusive, it's not valuable, okay? Number 9, challenge-based stimulation. Okay, it's one of my favorite ways to increase something's value. And this is related to exclusivity. Who here has ever used disqualification on a girl? Did it work?
Oh yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work? Did it work? It works, right? It totally works. Disqualification is challenge-based stimulation. All that, when I say challenge-based stimulation, that's my way of using a really big word to say challenging somebody. Okay, when you challenge someone, you stimulate something in them. And challenge is one of the later triggers we're going to talk about. When you challenge someone, you stimulate them in a way that a non-challenge just simply doesn't. If I tell you that Power Influence is one of those baddest courses we've ever created, all the top guys in Team Capital are already buying it. They love it. But honestly, it's not for everyone. Like people who just come here for motivation, but they don't really want to get better, then it's not for them. So before I let you invest in it, I want to make sure that you are the kind of guy that wants more than motivation. You actually want to become the best, most powerful, most successful, most influential version of yourself. Do you want that too? Yeah. Okay, so let's go. All right, so like just that little takeaway of like, it's not for everybody. It's not for these kinds of people. That is a challenge. I'm challenging you. I'm saying, are you that person or are you one of us? Okay, but it triggers something in the other person when you challenge them that way. Number 10, the halo effect. Okay, the halo effect. If it looks like a celebrity and it talks like a celebrity, it's probably a celebrity. Okay? What we mean by this, the halo effect, study after study has found if something just looks better, if it's good looking, it has more value. Okay? This is an unconscious thing shown over and over and over again. This is why my websites don't look like shit. Okay? They're badass designs. Okay? Halo effect. Number 11, naming it. All right? Name the thing, gives it value. I love naming shit, okay? For instance, I made a YouTube video the other day for a method of opening girls that you don't know, right? And it's called the hello goodbye method, right? Where you go up to a girl, you just drop a little seed in there, just talk for 5-10 seconds, a little joke, a little cocky, a little banter, and then you leave her. And you go talk to other people, and then it's so much easier to reopen later, and you're already opening with some attraction there, okay? And the line I use that I told them to use, it's the line I used to use all the time, is you go up to a girl and you're like, yo, is it true you hate puppies? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, those guys over there told me that you hate puppies. Like, is that true? She's like, what guys? And you're like, I don't know, they left. But like, stop trying to change the subject. Like, do you hate puppies? Like, what the fuck? Who could hate puppies? And she starts qualifying herself to you immediately, right? Totally. So you're already, by the way, when she's qualifying herself to you, if she's the one qualifying herself to you, right? You're up here and she's down here. She's trying to gain your approval. It's an authority play, right? Do you hate puppies? What's wrong with you? The next time you see her, how easy is it to open her? You already have an inside joke, right? It's a great line. However, it becomes more valuable when instead of me telling you, yeah, it's the whole puppy opener, say what up to her and then leave thing. That doesn't sound as good as me saying it's the hello goodbye method. I named it. Name everything. Makes it more valuable, right? It makes it more valuable. It's not the most important thing that you'll ever hear about how women choose who they're going to have sex with, right? It's the number one law of fucking. People remember it better when you name stuff too. Who here knows the number one law of fucking? God, I can't imagine you guys ever had sex without knowing the number one law of fucking. It's crazy, right? The number one law is that women never, ever, ever fuck guys who they see as beneath them. They only fuck guys who they think are better than them. Right? And not better in like money or titles or any of that bullshit. Better in like this guy's just cooler than me. That's who they want to have sex with. Right? Either at the same level or close to the same level or better. They're never gonna fuck a guy who's beneath them. It just won't happen. Number one law of fucking, I named it. Okay? Number 12 is bonus incentive, right? Which we talked about before. So let's talk about a couple techniques before we wrap up here. What is one way to use perceived value and incentive with your social life? Okay, well, forget social techniques, okay? You get this. You totally understand this. You get what I'm saying here. What I want for you is to take that $1 million checklist that I just gave you from above, and I want you to use it in your social life. Invitations, social media, conversations. I want you to use it. Like whatever you do something for the next couple of weeks, before you send out that invite, before you send that message, before you do whatever, look at the checklist and see if there's any way you can just, in a matter of just 2 or 3 words, use a couple of these triggers to the invitation, to the offer, to the email, to the conversation, to the date, whatever it is. You'll notice all of a sudden everything just seems to just work fucking better. It's really fucking cool. Okay? Really fucking cool. So what's one technique or way to use it with females? Well, here's a few. The classy man whore method. Okay, notice what I did there. I named it, right? The classy man whore method. This is one of my favorites where you put a price on your time and you constantly come back to it. It's like you meet her out, you guys are grabbing drinks, you let her know your normal rate is $600 an hour, but you know, like you are friends, you do like her, so it's only gonna be $400 an hour right now, right? She says whatever she says and you stick to your rate. After 10 minutes, you're like, you just let her know what the price is so far. So you know it's like about $80 so far, but like you're fine, keep going. We're having a good time, right? Like I'm not like those other guys, they only charge $100 an hour. Like I'm sure you can find them out here. I just want you to know, like cream of the crop. That's why you're paying such a high fee, okay? Premium man whore here, right? So you can have some fun with that. That's one. Pre-selection is one of the most important, most powerful ways you will increase your perceived value in the eyes of women. Okay, that means pictures of you with women make you more attractive. One of the coolest things you guys can do is you go on OkCupid, okay? And I think it's called the OkCupid Lab, but they mine data so well and they give it to you for free. So they are going through the millions and millions of members and messages that everyone's sending to each other, and they tell you which guys and profiles get the most responses, get the most dates, get the most views. Women, which profiles do women spend the most time reading, looking at the pictures? I think it's called the OkCupid Lab. And they'll tell you guys who have pictures like this get more views, get more responses. Guys who use words that are like these get more views, get more responses, etc. Okay, and with pictures, almost all the time, the guys who have women in the pictures with them are seen as more attractive or more valuable. It's pre-selection. Okay, and the ones who have women with them, but the women are looking at the guy and kind of like fighting for his attention or looking at him with admiration, seen as even more attractive. Okay, that's all powerful shit you can use in your life just to increase your own perceived value. And one of the worst things you can go is, well, it's just marketing. I'm not actually that valuable. I'm just making myself seem that valuable. Well, the truth is, there is no difference between actual value and perceived value. No one knows the difference. Everyone you think is really valuable and you're not, they're only seen as valuable by you because of perceived value techniques they use themselves. Mindfuck. You're welcome. Okay, so one other way you could do it in terms of invitations or getting a girl to come out using power influence stuff is you can still trigger scarcity, challenge, and pre-selection all at once in like one text message. So for instance, if you wrote a text message that said something like, hey, I'm busy as hell till Friday, but me and the girls are gonna let off some steam Friday at 7, you're coming, bring your best personality. Okay, so in a sentence like that, busy as hell till Friday, scarcity, means you're unavailable till Friday, right? So now you've triggered scarcity. Me and the girls are gonna let off some steam Friday at 7, pre-selection, right? Me and the girls. So it's not you, hey, I'm going to blow off some steam. You sound like a weirdo who's gonna jerk off at 7. Me and the girls, you agree with girls. Girls roll with you. Girls are comfortable with you. You're a cool guy. Girls don't have to worry about their safety with you. Other girls are cool with hanging out with you. Pre-selection, right? And then you're coming, bring your best personality. So now that's the authoritative you're coming, right? But bring your best personality is a little challenge, right? Don't bring that shitty personality you brought last time. That was boring. Bring your best personality, right? It's a little joke, a little tease. It's like a funny line I like to use sometimes, but it's a challenge. So in one little invite, you've triggered all these things. If I had just said in that text message, me and the girls are gonna let off some steam Friday, you're coming, bring your best personality, that's good. But if I say busy as hell till Friday, me and the girls are gonna blow off some steam, all of a sudden, I add that scarcity, just busy as hell till Friday, was that 4 words, 5 words? Your value skyrockets in her eyes, in anyone's eyes, okay? Same thing with business, friends, whatever, right? So obviously you don't wanna be mind fucking your friends all the time, just be weird, you become frame freak. But it's just important, right? Like, and here's the thing, if you already have compliance with people, like you've already used positioning, so all this stuff, like you already basically get a yes, you don't need to go that hard with it, then using, busy as hell till Friday, using all these different things are just gonna overdo it, right? They'll seem try hard. So once your positioning goes super high, you can go the bare minimum with this stuff and it'll still work great. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, but if you're not, if she doesn't know you that well and she doesn't see you as a celebrity in your city yet, then sure, use that stuff. And then when she sees you as fucking, like, Barack Obama is texting some girl, right? And he's like, busy as hell till Friday, I can't make it. She'd be like, that's weird. I know you're busy. Like, you're the president, you're a celebrity. You know what I mean? So he doesn't need to use that stuff. He already has that positioning. But until you're there yet, then go ahead, use that stuff. Okay, so what's one way to use it? Or how is it used with business and finances? Well, you can look no further than the iPhone. Okay, look no further than the iPhone. They have done such a good job marketing this thing, right? Such a good job with the perceived value of this thing. What is it really? It's a glass screen. It sends text and I don't know. You go on your internet. You go on apps. Like, that's it. That's cool. It's not that cool. It's not. Put it this way. It's not that cool. Everyone see what's happening here? This was the guy when the iPhone, I think iPhone 5 came out. He was the first one to buy it in London. He's on his knees. And they're all bowing down to him. And he's bowing down to them, to Apple. Okay? That's what perceived value can do to people. He's that one on the bottom, by the way, that's the line waiting to get their hands on the iPhone. That's what perceived value does to people. You can't get these people to read a fucking book, but they'll wait 3 nights outside for a new iPhone. And they already have an iPhone. They have the iPhone 4, but they need the iPhone 5. I can't, I'm like, dude, there's nothing I can do to get them to fucking read, I don't know, a Dan Kennedy book, right, or an Osho book, or Think and Grow Rich. I can't do it. I can't get them to read a good book. But Apple can get them to stand outside for 3 days for an upgraded phone. That's what perceived value does. All right, that's what it does. Look at handbags also, right? You guys ever seen the prices on a handbag? How much girls pay for these things? It's like I think it's $5,500 for a Chanel boy bag, which is that Chanel bag you see every girl has one, or a Louis Vuitton bag somehow. These girls can't even afford better than Chipotle, yet they somehow have a $5,000 bag. I don't know how the fuck they do it, okay? But they always find a way, right? Perceived value. It's a bag, dude. It's a bag. When a girl told me the price, I was like, dude, I would have gone to Whole Foods and gotten you a brown bag. They give them for free there. Like, you could carry your stuff around there, no problem. Nope, gotta have the Chanel one, all right? All perceived value. Because they have celebrities who talk about it, it's hard to find, it's exclusive. By the way, pricing something high, remember I said putting an actual dollar value on it, increases its perceived value in the first place. Does that make sense to everyone? Just because they charge $5,000, it's seen as more valuable. It increases the perceived value. Just because they're like, this is what it costs and this is what people are paying, what the fuck are you gonna say? That's the price, okay? That's the price. And lastly, one final little bonus tip here that you can use, again, to increase the perceived value of your words, okay? Because a lot of you here, a lot of you at home are gonna be fucking rock stars pretty soon, but right now, maybe you don't have a huge title, maybe people don't know who you are, and they don't wanna listen to everything you say. People have a natural resistance to getting advice anyways, right? If you just frame it as an authority said it, and not you, I think it's my 3rd time saying it in this course already, it will be taken with so much more openness. okay? Because the perceived value of the words increase, right? The perceived value of the words, they increase, right? We talked about Warren Buffett, right? If I tell you, listen, dude, you're not thinking this through. Like, you haven't thought anything through until you've actually written it down on paper. You might listen to me, you might not. If I tell you, it's really interesting, dude, you know, Warren Buffett, he always says that he's never even thought anything through until he's written it down. Maybe you should try that. Boom, you're gonna do it, okay? The words are the same. All I did was wrap it in higher perceived value. I wrapped it in Warren Buffett, okay? I took that rich white guy, I wrapped it around, right? I wrapped him around these words, and then I gave it to you, and now you're all about it. Okay, and this works for everyone. This is how everyone's brain works, okay? So all I did was increase the perceived value of the word because I said this is what Warren Buffett said. Now it's more valuable. Now you're down to hear it, okay? So super powerful shit. My brain is melting already. That's how hard I'm going right now. So I'll see you tomorrow. Peace, man.